This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
New surveillance video shows a hate crime at a home in Maplewood. A man spraying fake blood on an Israeli flag. And it's not the first time this family has been targeted. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. We heard today from the homeowner who is hoping police will make an arrest. 5 on your side's Annie Kroll first reported on a similar hate crime last month. She's here now with new details about this latest incident. Annie.
Mike, a banner with the faces of Israeli hostages has been vandalized about 6 times in the last few weeks. The latest incident on Friday was captured on security video again, this time by a newly installed camera because of the fear this Jewish family says they feel every day right outside their door.
You can still see the red substance on the Israeli flag after a young man sprayed what looks to be fake blood on it Friday night. He also sprayed it on the faces of Israeli hostages, leaving a haunting reflection almost 3 days later. The mother of this Jewish family in Maplewood says one of the scariest parts is that the man didn't even cover his face, especially since she's the one who wants to keep her face hidden on camera for safety reasons.
And it's in the open, and people feel comfortable doing these things and feel emboldened to do that. It has changed my view of where I fit in politically. It has changed my view of the ability to trust people.
Herbert Pirtle has lived here for 50 years in a home directly in the eye line of this display, reading his daily morning paper.
It absolutely surprises me. There's nobody in this neighborhood that I know that's lived here would do anything like that.
Maplewood police say they are asking for the public's help to find the person in this surveillance video from 11:10 p.m. on Friday. The latest in a string of incidents. First, on March 7th, when police say Matthew Pisoni was caught on camera stealing the Israeli flag. Then the next day, another person stole a banner and made an offensive gesture at their surveillance camera. Now this, a red-stained concrete platform on their front porch.
I think the part that breaks my heart the most on the impact it's had on my family has been on my 3-year-old. And we have times where he will stand at the window and he pushes his toy box over so that he can see the flag out the window, so that he can keep an eye on it and make sure that it's safe.
Maplewood police say this is an active case and it has been assigned to their detective bureau. Anyone with information about any of the suspects is asked to call police at 314-646-3617.
Rising tensions on college campuses are testing the line between free speech and hate speech. Now, some local leaders are speaking out about the ongoing protests over the war in Gaza. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is here now with more. Mark?
What started with pro-Palestinian protesters expressing rage at the death toll in Gaza spiraled into tense moments where Jewish students were instructed to flee their university campus out of concern they might be in danger. College campuses across the country erupted in a wave of demonstrations, with crowds of pro-Palestinian protesters clashing with police in New York City, where campus officials called in 150 officers for crowd control.
Columbia University is private property.
At Washington University, security cleared the campus of demonstrators gathered over the weekend, officials telling 5 on your side they were putting up tents, which were not allowed, and they also told us they were not going to leave. No one was arrested here, but after outbursts like this,
we are Hamas!
And signs showing anti-Semitic threats, the president addressed those calls that encouraged violence.
I condemn the anti-Semitic protests. That's why I've set up a program to deal with that.
Leo Arbach attends the University of Michigan.
You're seeing hate speech and pretty violent rhetoric be normalized at all levels.
Online, Congresswoman Cori Bush appeared to question the motives of people making threats like that. She drew comparisons to Ferguson, writing, "I know what it's like to have agitators infiltrate our movement, manipulate the press, and fuel the suppression of dissent by public officials and law enforcement."
It makes a difference when you've been someone who's actually put your feet in the ground at these protests because you have something on the line, because you have something to lose.
While Bush called them tactics to silence anti-war activists.
Because we don't want our tax dollars going to anywhere that's going to bomb children and to bomb, innocent people.
Viral video showed protesters praising rockets fired by Hamas, calling for more war or to burn Tel Aviv to the ground. When a rabbi at Columbia University urged Jewish students to return home as soon as possible, Senator Josh Hawley wrote President Biden saying campus police and local law enforcement have failed to secure the campus. He said Jewish Americans are at risk and called on Biden to mobilize the National Guard. And I just got off the phone with a member of the New York National Guard who told me there's some 32,000 plus cops in New York City. They don't need the National Guard to do crowd control on a college campus. The cops were trained to do this. and the National Guard was the last resort. He said New York City has more than enough cops to handle this.
Let's take a look outside. Of course, it's been raining through the rush hour and part of the afternoon. Still cloudy ahead of tonight's Cardinals game, but it doesn't look like it's raining right now.
And just a few hours ago, we heard thunder in downtown St. Louis and in other parts of the area. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with a look at our Weather First forecast.
You know, the showers and even some thunderstorms started before the evening rush hour, and they lasted just a little longer than we anticipated. They were also a little heavier in some places than we expected, thinking maybe we get a tenth to a quarter of an inch last night. There are some of us that ended up with more than a half an inch of rainfall out of this. And now it's all pressing south and east. You're looking down in Arnold right now. Still the clouds, but most of the rain has now shifted just out of the metro area. Already seeing some sunshine. Looking back towards Weldon Spring, and you can see a little bit of sun trying to break through the clouds down in Cuba. Rain sliding into the metro east. Still a pretty steady rain over from Nashville. Going east towards Centralia. We've had some downpours in Salem too. What's left down to the south of us now. And yes, there are still some downpours as you work your way across southern portions of Phelps County, and that'll take you down towards Lesterville and Centerville. Look at that stripe of heavier rain that just moved right through the metro area. Quarter to a half an inch or a little more of rainfall, but it's over now, and we'll get a bit of a break for tomorrow. We are talking about severe weather potential, though, as we head into the weekend, and we'll get into that in about 14 minutes. Mike?
Thomas Kinworthy, the man accused of killing St. Louis police officer Tamaris Bohannon back in 2020, appeared in court for the second day of his trial. Kinworthy's attorneys are arguing he's not guilty due to mental illness. Former St. Louis Police Chief John Hayden and several members of law enforcement were there today offering support to the family Bohannon left behind.
That might have been the saddest day of my career, if not my life. And you know, to hear the officers retell the events or the series of events, it wells up inside of you, just as almost if it was the same dance, and not quite as much, but certainly you relive those encounters.
Officer Bohannon's family was also in court today. This trial is expected to last until May 3rd.
If you live or work in the Metro East, a construction project may slow down your commute for the next several years. St. Clair County leaders are moving forward with another expansion of Frank Scott Parkway. It will add more than 1.5 miles of road. 5 on your sides. Holden Kerwicki is in Shiloh with the details.
When Eddie Lofton was a kid, Frank Scott Parkway was 2 lanes running through the middle of farm fields.
Pretty much just a straight road to get from Belleville to Old Fallon.
These days, the road has a much different look.
Because most of this that you see back behind me has pretty much been built up, and they're still building up.
According to St. Clair County Highway Engineer Norm Etling, Frank Scott Parkway is once again expanding east.
There are pieces of Frank Scott Parkway that are not 5 lanes between Greenmount and Cross. We're going to widen those.
Though construction is a common sight along Frank Scott Parkway, the road has historically ended here at Cross Street in Shiloh, in the shadow of Memorial Hospital, which will soon be connected with Scott Air Force Base thanks to a multi-million-dollar expansion.
It also feeds into the supporting the mission of the base, because the base doesn't have a hospital anymore. So it'd be the fastest way for people to get from the base to either hospital, now Memorial, which would be right there at Cross Street, or St. Elizabeth's, which is on Greenmount.
Etling says the expansion will help alleviate traffic congestion as the area continues to expand.
Oh, don't nobody like to be stuck in traffic anyway.
Construction on Frank Scott is expected to start in 2025 and take at least 2 years to complete.
Please give us some good weather.
Reporting in Shiloh, Illinois, Holden Kerwicki, 5 on your side.
The expansion of Frank Scott Parkway was made possible after Congressman Mike Bost set aside $4 million in federal funding. Etling says St. Clair County must still cover 20% of the project's total cost.